Hello everyone, that should work now, hopefully. So, if we grab these two up here, do let me know if everything's going okay, guys. I'm just making sure everything is solid. Alright, so if this is all good, we'll rock and roll. Okay, that should be much better, hopefully. This time you should be able to hear me. Let's hope that you can. Okay, that should be much better, hopefully. Alright, cool. So you guys should be able to hear me now, and I should be able to see the game, which is ideally what we'd like. So, hello guys, I thought I would do a quick game around the verse and just have a little play and explore and leave you guys to ask any questions that you might have, see what you guys are thinking about the current state of everything, what you're excited for in the roadmap now that we finally have one for 3.3, and just generally get to know you all a little bit. So drop any comments in the chat and I'll try and respond to you, and let's go and have an explore around. Don't know about you guys, I'm quite actually looking forward to the Crusader Mercury. I think I'm going to pick one up. Gonna wait and see what the promo skin turns out to be for finding those two guys, finding their belligerent duck. But I quite like the look of the, what colour was it? Sort of red. Someone mocked up like a white and red one. I think that looked pretty cool, but only time will tell, I suppose. You guys will have to tell me what you think. Oh, come on, Star Citizen. You can do it. I don't know how long it takes for you guys to load into the verse, but it takes a little bit of a while. Come on, game. Don't hang, please. Whoops. Come on. Ah, there we go. Success. Maybe. Alright, yeah, cool. Oh, good frame rate. Nice start to the game. Well, hopefully things perk up a little bit. It seems like we might have a bit of a rubbish server. Ooh. It's not the best graphic quality I've ever seen, but hey, it's not the worst either, I suppose. The eternal problem of playing while streaming. Hey Chad, yeah, it takes a little bit longer than I'd like to load into the verse, but I suppose on a game this big... Oh, I've lost my Eclipse. It's gone missing. Let's get a new one of those. Oh, not that button. So what do we take? What do we do? That's a good question. I've got the Avenger Titan, which I believe is the... I don't know what that's for. Is that the Loner of the Month? Whoop, someone just exploded. Saber Raven for the promo The Mustang is mine. The Caterpillar is mine. I don't know where the others have come from. What else do I own? I have a Drake Vulture, which is where the Prospector's from. I feel like I don't have this many ships. Well, I'll tell you what, let's... Where can we go? What can we do? I haven't done a whole bunch of mining yet, so let's go and try some mining. Unless you guys would rather I did something else. Where are we going today? A7. I usually pull out the Caterpillar, which is enormous, so I'm used to going to A00. But no, number 7 this time. So yeah, let me know guys, there's enough of you around. What do you think to the latest roadmap? Are you happy to see what they've put in there? Is there anything that you are upset that they've removed? I'm personally kind of happy with it. There's some things that, you know, I would have wished would stayed there, but at the end of the day, OCS is the big one, and having another planetary system is quite a big deal too. So, I mean, we can hope. We can hope that it turns out it's actually really good. I don't know where the door for this ship is. Is it this? Yeah. I think I've used the ship all of twice. Alright, cool. So, let's go ahead. I don't know where I'm going to go yet. That's a good question. Come on, let me in please. This inner thought thing is a bit... Oh, I had it, now I've lost it. There we go. Yeah, so you guys mentioned mining and spy beacon missions. I actually, when I used to stream more often last year, I used to do a series called Road to 1 Million UEC, where I'd go and trade huge amounts of cargo with the Caterpillar. But it seems to be less profitable nowadays, especially since people like to stick around Jump Town and blow you up. But time invested in mining versus reward. So it doesn't seem super profitable at the minute, although I haven't done that much mining, so I'm not super qualified to talk about it. But yeah, it does take quite a long time to make not a whole ton of money. Though I'm sure that CIG will start to tweak things, especially in the upcoming patch, now that we've told them that we like what we think, what our opinions are. They're planning on putting things like asteroid mining in. So yeah, I mean, I can see it changing for the better. A couple of naughty dudes over here. What are you? I can't even tell. Alright, where's my orbital marker? That is the question. It's not over there, it is. So as soon as I face the orbital marker, the quantum jump thing goes away. Yeah, that's true. They made cargo trading much, much worse, especially in the recent ones. It used to be super profitable to take a Caterpillar and just load it up to the brim, take it somewhere else and sell it. But yeah, they really put a dampener on that one, especially with the with them now planning to add cost of fuel and things like that. It's going to make it much harder to make tons of profit with that. So I mean, we'll see. Hopefully they rebalance again, slightly more in our favour. But we can never be sure. I mean, that was one of the things. I believe salvage was originally planned for 3.3, as was manual repair. as was Refuel actually, which all would have added quite a lot of, you know, new features, quite a lot of gameplay elements to the verse, and then they decided to take them all away, which is kind of sad. But so 3.3 has become big content patch, but not really a gameplay patch as such, which is sad. It would have been nice to have more things to do, but I suppose we can't complain too much. They did. They're giving us another star system, so we don't have too much to complain about, I suppose. Although I think ArcCorp is the one I'm really looking forward to. As nice as Lorville is going to be, ArcCorp is just, yeah, big fan. I liked the original ArcCorp sort of landing zone that they did, even if it was only a demo. So I'm hoping that the next one will actually be quite nice. Yeah, so ship rentals is an interesting one. They're calling it ship rentals presumably because you can buy your ship in the verse, but when the server resets, you lose it. Now, oh, that was the wrong button. As we already know, ships are incredibly expensive cash-wise, and they're only going to be more horrendously expensive in terms of UEC. For some of the smaller ships, like an Aurora, we're probably looking at maybe 100,000 UEC. At a wild guess, like I'm completely speculating, but I'd expect it to be around, you know, the high tens, the low hundreds of thousands of UEC. The idea being that all the citizens have already got one. It's like buying a car, you know, they're not cheap things to own. And some of the bigger capital ships will be in the millions of UEC, so we'll never be able to afford them before the server resets. Which is kind of a shame, because it's hard to earn that much UEC. With cargo trading, one of the big ways was to just start with loads of money so you could fill a ship. But nowadays even that is very risky. I suppose it's better with the them adding more persistence, so when we log out or crash we get our things back, or we spawn back in our ships, but it's still not a perfect system. Yeah, so I've not actually played Elite Dangerous. I don't know what their pricing's like, but I don't know, it'll be interesting nonetheless. I expect it to take quite a while to actually earn a ship. So those of us who will be buying them in verse, as it were, will be those who have at least dedicated a reasonable amount of time to playing. Although, that being said, especially in the first couple of releases of it existing, CIG are going to want to test it. So I suppose they'll either give people more starting cash than usual, or make them cheaper than they're going to be in the final game. Because yeah, we are in testing at the moment. Yeah, I could see the Connie being quite expensive. It's a very nice ship. I think the things that will be cheap and accessible are going to be the starters, like the Aurora, the Mustang series, things like that. And we'll start to see rapid price increases as ships get bigger. And even then, one of the things that I can see happening that would probably actually be quite nice is CIG will probably restrict ship sales. So you can only buy certain ships in certain planetary systems. For example, in Stanton, you might only be able to buy, I don't know, just trying to think about the lore of Stanton. Probably just Crusader ships, or primarily Crusader ships. And if you manage to find any from another manufacturer, they'll probably have quite a limited selection, so you might not be able to find a 890 jump, because you can only buy an 890 jump in Origin's homeworld. And for certain ships which are more, or say all of the Vandal ships, which are obviously replicas made by Asperia, it might be that they aren't such a reputable dealer, and you have to go to some back alley part of the verse, or you have to go to, I don't know, Vandal territory and, you know, steal one. It'll be quite an interesting sort of experience, but I think they'll artificially limit their availability in the verse just to make it more fun. But I suppose we'll soon find out. I think Daymar. I could head over to Daymar. Let's have a look. If my mobi-glass will actually open and not just break. Am I stuck in mobi-glass limbo now? Oh no, there we go. Let's head over here instead. Come to a very violent stop. Ugh. Okay, to Daymar we go. There we are. Yeah, so I mean, it'll be exciting. I'm kind of waiting to see the first iteration to OCS. Those guys, as I said on yesterday's video, they are at 91% completion for the background tasks so far. So yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see sort of the first playtests of it. Whether they'll show those to us or they'll keep them for CitizenCon, I'm not yet sure. We know that CIG do like to hide a couple of things for CitizenCon, like they said they're going to for Lawville, so we won't get a good look at it until then. But yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be, you know, it'll definitely be interesting to see what kind of change it makes to the gameplay experience. Especially since out here in the middle of Daymar, we seem to have no issues with lag or like skips in loading or anything like that. But especially around populated areas, we get that quite bad. But yeah, I mean, are any of you guys going to CitizenCon? Are you going to go and head over to Austin and see what CIG have got on offer? I would, but it's very expensive to take a plane from the UK to Texas. That's not a trip you want to do regularly. So, PTU in the next 10 days. I think we're still quite early, aren't we? So, planned release is October. CitizenCon is October the 8th or something along those lines. I can do a quick search to find out. But yeah, I believe according to Chris Roberts' like official word, they're going to release at least the PTU at CitizenCon because they want to hide some of the features until then, until they can announce them officially. Yeah, it's on the 10th of October. Yeah, so actually, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a PTU until that day. Like drifting off course a little bit here. That being said, it may be that they release a PTU patch with, you know, limited things in it. I wouldn't rule it out completely. But yeah, I mean, we've got about 40 days until CitizenCon, 45 days. So there's still quite a lot of work to do, but given that they're at about 60, what was it, 61% complete for the overall patch, there's still quite a lot of work to do. How that comes along remains to be seen. They've got quite a lot of things in the end stages of completion, and there's a fair few tasks that can be pushed back. The community don't seem super engaged in, so we'll see how they prioritize those. I know one of the ones that surprised me that made its way into 3.3 was legal gameplay. They added no-fly zones, which, you know, I'm speculating, but is almost certainly a legal system, which is quite early, given that I believe legal gameplay is 3.4 or 3.5. But yeah, so I can see that easily getting pushed back. I don't think they'd push back any of the ships, just because all of them are in reasonably high demand. All of the core tech is going to push hard. Yeah, so however, that would not make the patch very close. It's an interesting one. In software development terms, things don't move linearly, so you can push and push and push to 61%, and you might find the next 30% is super easy, and all the tasks that they've got pending are just polish this off, add this to the game, make sure this spawns in the right place. And it could actually be that next week we see 25% progress, or we could see 1%. The ones that are worrying for me are the fact that Object Container Streaming's background tasks are almost done, but the task itself is still quite early days. I think it's at 20-something% progress. And obviously we need them to complete that in order to actually see it implemented. Oh, let's try not to crash into the planet, as I've done so many times. Yeah, actually with OCS, I can see this PTU being one of the worst ones we've ever experienced. I mean, a lot of veteran players have seen, you know, the likes of 2.6 and so on. But given that a lot of the players playing now are still fairly new, they've never really experienced the steaming mess that can be Star Citizen. And yeah, OCS is quite a big change to everything, really. So we'll see, you know, whether it goes smoothly, and I don't expect it to be honest. But yeah, no doubt there'll be a number of 3.3.1, 3.3.2. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 3.3.8 patch, just them fixing random OCS bugs. It's not going to be an easy thing to sort of lever in there. So we'll see. Best of luck to them though. And yeah, I mean, as long as it makes the game more fun for all of us, that's the main thing. As long as we can not lock up the main thread every few seconds when we're trying to play the game. And it's not going to be the magic bullet to solve all the problems, but it'll definitely take a step in the right direction, to the point where maybe I can get my friends in and say, hey, come and play this game with me, without them going, it doesn't even launch on my PC, or I get 10 frames per second. Who knows, even the quality settings might start to do something, as opposed to just being there for show. But we shall see. I'm getting 27 FPS right now, which is actually really good. I'm kind of impressed with that, given that I'm streaming and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, we can hope that 3.3 has lots of nice things in it. Alright, let's just go mine something, since this is going to be... Oh, that was not the button I wanted to press. Alright, let's see if we can find something to mine. There's some rocks down here. Alright, if I can remember how to get the mining laser. There we go. There's a scanning button on here somewhere, and I'll try and remember how to use it. Any of you guys remember the button for the scanning mode? Because I don't. I do wish the tutorial were more helpful on this. If OCS makes the game unplayable, the community will be upset. So yes, I agree, the community will probably be very upset if it breaks the game, but I also agree that it's a necessary evil, and the community will kind of understand if that does break things, because yeah, we've been begging for this for a while, but you know, we kind of need it. It's something that we can't get away from, and if it breaks one patch but then the next patch is good, then who are we to complain, you know? In terms of PC upgrades, CPU is not a terrible idea, because yeah, we as we're seeing, CPU is being throttled quite a lot by some stuff. 2080 just seems a bit excessive and expensive. But I mean, so Nvidia have hit a weird one here with the 2080, because it's got ray tracing and AI cores and things like that, which actually, having spoken to some of the devs at Star Citizen, they will probably implement these things, but not immediately, not anytime soon. So yeah, I'd say if you're planning on buying one at release, it's probably not worth it, unless you were planning a PC upgrade anyway. But yeah, I mean, if you were otherwise, just wait a couple of years. Get a used 1080, because they're going to be cheap. Everyone's going to try and upgrade because they've got too much money. But yeah, don't worry about a 2080 just yet. Or even for the price of a 2080, get two 1080s in SLI, and then you can play in 4K. In terms of CPU, I've got a 6600K, which is okay, and I'm considering replacing with a what am I going to replace it with? Probably a Ryzen 5 or a Ryzen 7. I haven't decided yet. But just right now, I just bought a GTX 1080, so it's probably not yet time to buy a new CPU. I think I might get told off if I do that. Oh, a 1080 Ti. How does that perform? A 14970 is a pretty decent chip. And a 1080 Ti is a pretty decent, yeah. I'm going to try and not blow myself up this time. I'm not sure why this rock doesn't want to be mined. What's going on here? Yeah, I mean, CPU isn't super limiting at the moment, but it's definitely not great. And yeah, it seems to be that you need to have at least a relatively decent CPU in order to do anything. My big thing at the moment is obviously streaming and or video editing requires a relatively good CPU, so it might be time for me to upgrade very soon. But I suppose, you know, until it becomes a real issue. Now, this is the highest I think I've ever pulled my laser. So let's ease back on this before I blow myself into space at high speed. Yeah. I can't actually... I thought it fractured, but apparently not. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping with the release of OCS, we see less strain on our hardware. Then again, I think everyone's hoping that at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have players with sort of slightly worse hardware being able to play without having to invest in the most high-spec gaming PC anyone's ever seen. Because yeah, the game has, what, 2 million backers now? Whether they all have game packages is a different story. But yeah, they all want to play the game. We want them to play the game. That's what makes our immersive universe. And so it'd be nice if they could. And setting a barrier to entry so high is obviously not going to allow them to play. Although, that being said, I do acknowledge that by the time the game actually releases, it'll probably be a different story. By the time the game releases, will probably be the hardware required to run it will probably be quite cheap. Yeah, I mean, I can't even see the rocks that I'm extracting. There we go. But yeah, I mean, there's no real way of knowing what 3.3 is going to hold in terms of performance. CIG have been incredibly quiet on that, so I would be curious to find out, but I don't think they're going to tell us anytime soon, do you? Not until CitizenCon. And we'll either get a nice presentation of you can all play Star Citizen now, or we'll get a nice presentation of them managing expectations and telling us that actually we're going to get stiffed again. But we can hope. We can hope that they're going to surprise us and tell us that everything's okay now. Yeah, the Evocati is an interesting one. Because I don't know whether they're going to give it to the Evocati before CitizenCon either. But given the number of leaks that we've had over the last few patches, if the Evocati weren't so known for leaking, they'll probably release to those guys before CitizenCon. But yeah, given the number of leaks that have come out, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it. In terms of people complaining about FPS, A, yes, they will just complain because we know what they're like. B, the hard drive versus SSD thing is an interesting one because the game is massive, and I keep most of my games on a hard drive because I've got a multiple terabyte hard drive for games with a smaller SSD for my boot disk. And I can kind of understand people not wanting to, load up the SSD with all of the games, because that storage real estate is expensive. But yeah, I don't think that's something CIG are going to fix, because with the amount of stuff that they are loading in, how big the game is, all the assets and things, they kind of need all that space. Although that being said, in the future, SSDs are becoming very commonplace now. Almost everyone's PC has one. And I suppose an SSD being a barrier to entry, that's a pretty low barrier to entry, to be honest. Having to go and spend 40 quid on an SSD to play a game, it's cheaper than the starter package. Although, yeah, I suppose they probably will optimize it just in case. But yeah, I think we'll see a lot of... I think we'll just get a lot of people to buy SSDs, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I suppose with the free fly events, CIG kind of need to put a big disclaimer on there that says your FPS is going to be really low, we know, it's normal, rather than keeping very quiet about it and leaving the community to answer all the questions that say, why is my FPS low? Why is this rubbish? They do stay very quiet about that when they're marketing the free fly, as do all of the press outlets who then report the free fly. But I know it must hurt their pride a little bit to say, oh, sorry guys, our game's a bit rubbish right now. But I think they kind of need to, if they want the player base to trust them. One of the big complaints that I've seen over the Free Fly weekend, which I mentioned in yesterday's Week in Review, is that a lot of players are finding the CIG website really hard to navigate. So I don't know if you guys have this problem, but yeah, when you're trying to find things like the star map, it can be really difficult to find in the site. There's just it's buried under so many menus and there's so many things going on that people really struggle to find what they're looking for. And the store's not exactly a cakewalk either. So yeah, there's been quite a few complaints that the website is too complicated and that every time that they try to update the website they make it worse. Don't know what I think about that. I've only seen 2 of their websites in the time that I've been playing, but I can't say much for the old website because when I was first playing it was, you know, I use the word playing very loosely, it was 2.6 kind of era. Yeah, the pledge store's pretty bad, and you know, the whole ship reclaiming system and then ship upgrades and things, the whole system's not very obvious, and I see a lot of people complaining when they buy CCUs and things that they buy them and then they can't understand why their ship hasn't changed and they don't realize they have to apply the upgrade. And yeah, again, it isn't made very obvious. There should probably be an automatic prompt that says, you know, do you want to upgrade? Alright, now you guys probably know this better than me, but where's the best place to sell all of this? I would have guessed Grimhex, but I don't actually know. Oh, that's not too bad. Nope. There we go. Yeah, so the store is a bit not very great. The whole website's a bit not great. But I mean, it's nice to have. There just seems to be lots of things that they need to fix and tweak and just generally make better. Whether they will in time, you know, again, it remains to be seen. You know what I'd quite like that. Oh, it's gone now. The hydrogen fuel warning is quite annoying. But yeah, I mean, the website is fine. They put some nice things up there, but it's not laid out as nicely as it could be. There are things that, you know, even as an experienced citizen, just get lost and you just can't find them. Took me ages to find the dev tracker to see what the devs have been up to. And yeah, they just rework things at random. But yeah, I can see where people have or take issue with it. Let's see how we're doing. Should probably head out a little bit more. I'm gonna need to go to Cryastro as well and get some more fuel. But yeah, in terms of like 3.3 generally, I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm hoping that they're gonna throw in some surprises. They've been mentioning about, you know, we don't put everything on the roadmap. So I'm hoping that Chris Roberts has got something up his sleeve. Yeah, Mark, if you sent me a link, it didn't come through. Lost into the ether of YouTube, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, worst case, I'll just go and sell it anywhere. I just need to go and get some fuel from Cryastro, probably. Oh, that was a new one. I haven't seen that sort of altitude UI that they use, like turns 90 degrees and falls away. That's quite nice. I like that. I like the Mercury, and I was actually shocked at some of the footage that I put in from, what was it in? It was in Shipshape. It looks like the concept artist modeled it in 3D, as opposed to a lot of the artists who design things in 2D. So it looks like they've already got a full exterior shell, which was a little bit surprising. Whether it gets fast-tracked, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure that I trust that to happen. But I mean, we'll see. I'm not really sure what I'm expecting for him to fast-track. Just trying to think what he might do. We might see salvage, maybe, but I doubt it. Other than that, you know, the one that I'm really looking forward to is the, what is it? Land claim system, because I want to build a space base. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, whether we actually see it. A Carrack and the Mercury. Yeah, the Carrack seems to be actually progressing better than I thought it would. Although, yeah, I do feel like that's one of those ships where CIG will just kind of ignore it until it's ready, just to tease the community. It's the kind of ship that they would just, you know, ignore us, and then suddenly go, okay, it's ready, it's releasing on this patch, and it'd immediately come out. Because they think it'd be funny. But yeah, I think there's still some... I don't know if we're fully ready for the Carrack yet, that's all. Especially with the, you know, lack of data running gameplay actually being functional. Data running's going to be good fun, but yeah, it doesn't even exist yet as a technology, so I think it could be a while till we see that. That being said, I'm certainly looking forward to data running. I don't know if I'm going to do it as my primary career. That's a good point. What are you guys planning on doing as your primary careers? What are you excited for? I'm not 100% sure yet. I don't know if any citizen is 100% sure what they're going to do yet. But I'd be interested to see what you guys are thinking in terms of Star Citizen careers. Of course, Grim Hex is on the other side of the planet. At its literal worst. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think I'm going to focus on business. I'm going to try and own businesses, which isn't, you know, I don't know how it's going to work in the verse yet because we're still so early in gameplay. But yeah, I'm going to try and own a chain of businesses that, you know, primarily focused on logistics, and own a fleet of haulers and try and hire people to haul huge amounts of cargo across the verse for me. Try and win that, what do they call it? Try and win the rest stops contract. Supply all the rest stops in the verse. Become the pizza delivery empire. Yeah, data running is going to be interesting. I'm not really sure on it yet, because we are still very early in sort of knowing what's going to go on, how it's going to work, what kind of data can we steal, how secret can data really be, how easy will it be to hack, and can we store it securely in a more or less unhackable place, or are we always vulnerable? So yeah, there's some questions I want answered about data running, but it is interesting. And Jerry, I don't know what the Shadow Broker is, but it sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, just generally being, I want to own a big fleet of stuff. That sounds really cool. I mean, eventually, trading and people transport with the Starliner. Yeah, I mean, the Starliner is a really nice ship, to be honest. I do really like that one. Although, we'll see when it actually makes its way into the verse if it's as nice as they make it look. I haven't played Mass Effect, unfortunately. It's one of those games that I just never really got around to playing. I don't know, is it any good? Maybe I should go and play it. Maybe that's the next thing on my list of things to play. I am trying to think if I've even... No, I don't even think I've seen it played. But maybe I should add it to the list and jump on that at some point. Let's see how we're doing. Still too far. Yeah, unfortunately, being a grown-up now, I don't get that much time for games. But I do try. Star Citizen takes most of my time when I'm not doing grown-up things. Seminal Sci-Fi Trilogy. That sounds pretty cool. I'll check it out. Is there a remastered version, or am I playing the original Potato 360 version? I mean, either is fine, but some of the remasters have really nice graphics. So this is an interesting one, Mass Effect and Star Citizen. I'm wondering whether CIG are going to give us a suite of kind of like Gary's Mod style, source filmmaker style tools to use in the verse or use on the game, because we could make our own games inside the game if they would let us do that. But I mean, I don't know whether that's on their roadmap. Chris Roberts does seem like the kind of guy who'd be open to that idea, but I guess we'll see. Maybe someone will ask him at one of the Calling All Devs or something like that. I think I'm going to have to buy the Mass Effect trilogy now as well. Oh, it's on Origin. That's worse. I suppose it's fine. I suppose I'll have to make do. Hey Cypher, how you doing? And yeah, like, high def mods are good. I can play that. I just bought this shiny new graphics card, so I want to take it out for a spin. I want to get some nice high fidelity games to play. So if you guys got any other recommendations for things to kill my GPU that aren't Star Citizen, because that does a good enough job already. First two on Steam, that's pretty good. Although Origin sells the trilogy, so it might be worth just buying that. But we'll see. I was really hoping they'd release another Bioshock. They did the Bioshock Remastered, and I hoped that that was going to tell them there was enough interest that we need Bioshock 4. But apparently not yet. Modding tools on the original plans, 5 years. Yeah, I suppose at this point everything's 5 years away. But we won't be seeing a stable beta version of the game for like another, I don't know, insert number here, number of years. Everyone seems to have their own opinion on this. I think we've got at least another 2.5, 3 years to wait before we see it reach beta. But yeah, I mean, modding tools would be cool. To what degree they allow us to mod things is an interesting one. Because yeah, the guys doing things like the Daymar Rally, they could build in a proper set of rules for their race, rather than just, you know, managing it themselves. They could build a full rule set with actual automated rule management and things. But whether they will, or how long that takes, whether the Daymar Rally still exists then, is a good question. And yeah, so it looks like I've got a new game to go and download after this. Yeah, trying to think what games I did play in my younger years. Bioshock was definitely a series that I thought was absolutely phenomenal. I really enjoyed that. Dead Space was good, although I don't think I played the third one. I played the first two. Yeah, that kind of game. I quite liked all of the Telltale games, although I've been told now that I should play... I played the first series of the Walking Dead game, and apparently the next couple of series are really good, so I think they're on the list too. You see, you say mods on private servers. I would actually be surprised if CIG officially sanctioned private servers. I don't see them doing it. I don't know, their whole concept of like single shard, one universe kind of doesn't fit the private server idea. And the universe is so big, if you did host a private server, you might never see anyone else. Although... Oh, private servers is a thing. Okay, fair enough. I didn't know about that. But yeah, I mean, if we can have private servers, I wonder if we can have custom maps. You'd have to think so, wouldn't you? So you could have a private star system, which could be kind of cool. And yeah, that would be some interesting things going on. That being said, I'm hoping that the verse is going to be fun enough anyway. I don't know if it's going to actually let me quantum over here. No, it's not. I mean, that's reasonable. Yeah, I mean, the next big thing that I'm waiting for is the whole base building mechanic. I think that's going to be great fun. Having space bases, build the Citadel for real. No, I haven't played Knights of the Old Republic. There's a lot of games I haven't played, lots more than I have. I spent many, many years playing more Call of Duty than I should have done. But yeah, I reached many, many prestiges throughout those series, and they weren't the best games, but there you go. Would be for organizations. I wonder how that's going to work. Yeah, I mean, it'll be cool. Definitely need to go and refuel. Yeah, I mean, either way, it's going to be cool. I have no doubt that we're going to have great fun in the verse. But yeah, I mean, one day we'll have a huge space empire, and one day I'll be able to build the Citadel. Yeah, land claiming went back into 3.5 or 3.6. I don't remember exactly which. It was originally in 3.4, which is, I was really excited for the end of the year to see that happen. But alas, no more. I didn't even get a chance to buy a land claim the first time around. They took them off sale before I had the money to buy one. So, yeah, I don't even own a land claim. But I'm sure when they actually release, they'll either bring them back or I can find someone on the grey market to sell me one. But one way or another, I will own the Citadel. Build a huge, sprawling trade empire for anyone who wants to join. Yeah, I don't even know what the Old Republic is. Knights of the Old Republic. I believe that's a Star Wars game, though I couldn't be sure. And yeah, it's kind of sad. I mean, I'm excited to see them make their way when they, come around. And yeah, it's CIG. They'll sell them again. They like money. Land sales, another one does. Ask myself where to stop. Yeah. So my stopping point is basically I have no idea. I want to reach concierge status for reasons. I don't know. I just feel the need to be concierge. But I'm not there yet. I'm not even close to there yet. But one day. Part of the reason that I started this channel is to try and fund my Star Citizen habit and not feel quite so bad spending stupid amounts of money on fake spaceships. But how much have you guys spent, out of curiosity? Do you want to say, or do you feel super sad about how much money you could have spent on a car? I've spent, I think, 500 now. Although no doubt it will end up being a lot more eventually. Oh, Whoops, that was close. Now, where's the entrance? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I've spent far more than I care to think about. And I can guarantee that I'm going to end up spending more. 1,609. Yeah, I feel that issue, to be honest. I wasn't going to spend any more probably this year, but then they released the Mercury, and I have currently a Vulture that I'm not really bothered about. I just bought it because I had the credit lying around, and so I think I'm now going to have to spend the extra £100 and upgrade. And so, you know, ooh. Not sure what happened there. Oh, this UI is different. But yeah, so it looks like I'm spending more money again soon. What else we got? Cypher. Yeah, I mean, not unreasonable. They're expensive ships. Yeah, I feel that, Mark. I wouldn't care to tell my partner how much I've spent, though I'm sure she could figure it out. She cared. Oh, let's go down gently. Oh, come on, down you go. The friend of mine who got me into the game in the first place has spent way more than I would spend in a lifetime. It was quite a lot of money, but he bought me my first... No. I owned a game package. He bought me my second ship, which was the Caterpillar. Some of it is a sub. More interesting question. What do we have for our money? Yeah, so the way that I kind of justify this to myself, come on, door, is that most MMOs cost money to play. They're, say, World of Warcraft, which I don't play, but I've got a friend who does, and he spends £10 a month on his WoW subscription, and for that he gets nothing. Now, if I put £10 a month into Star Citizen, I get ships. And I can put that in the form of a sub, or I can get ships, or I can do whatever. I do both of them in it, but yeah. 20 a month on something I like, spend more on cigarettes. Yeah, that's also fair. There are way worse things to spend your money on, and the way I see it, if I keep spending this little by little every month, by the time the game releases, I'll have quite a nice fleet. In terms of my fleet, I have a whole bunch of stuff that I don't even know where it came from. I'll tell you what, there's a ship console over here. Let's go and have a look and I can show you. So I've got my Avenger Titan. I have no idea where this came from. One of these is the ship of the month. Is it the Eclipse, I think, is maybe the ship of the month for subscribers. So I don't know where this came from, but I've got one apparently. The Saber Raven was the Intel Optane promotion, so at my job we bought a bunch of Optane drives for a hardware project, and there were a bunch of Star Citizen codes, so one of them came home with me. I also don't know where the Hornet came from. Apparently I have that too. The Mustang Alpha is a bunch of credit that I'm sat on. Is it? Oh no, okay. This is a bunch of credit that I need to just trade in for something. This is the Mustang that came with my starter package, which I didn't upgrade because it's only got 3 months insurance. The Dragonfly, I also have no idea. The Caterpillar is a Caterpillar that was gifted to me by a friend. Oh, actually I do know where most of those ships came from. Most of these ships are from the Free Fly event. That would explain why I've got 2 prospectors. As is the Cutlass Black, the Caterpillar is mine, the Dragonfly is the Free Fly event, the Mustang Alpha is mine, the Hornet is the Free Fly, the Saber Raven is mine, the Eclipse is the rental ship, and the Avenger Titan must be my credit. So there we go. That's why. Let's catch up on the chat. $470. Yeah, that's about where I'm at, and I can't say I blame you. This game is really expensive, and it's really good at enticing you to spend more money. And if I ever get Concierge, I'm sure I'll spend even more money buying t-shirts and yeah, Concierge cards and whatnot. I've already got a Squadron 42 t-shirt from when they put those on sale. Yeah, I'd forgotten that I'd put the Free Fly Weekend code in to take a screenshot for the video yesterday. So I didn't realise that I had those 4 ships, but that is where they've come from. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the ship purchasing stuff comes down to personal preference. I would be interested to see the statistics on how many people own what ships and what kind of percentages, because there must be some quite niche ships out there that barely anybody owns. I did have a Cyclone before, but I got rid of it because I wanted the credit for something. But I'd definitely get a Cyclone again, or a Rover of some kind when the new Cyclones come out. I'm selling. I'm selling from here. Also, I love the fact that this is a pirate station, and this is an expired trial of this software. Okay, so I actually can't sell any of this here. So, yeah, I mean, with Star Citizen, I suppose I'm going to use that calculator that someone linked, and if I can figure out what's in my ship, it's probably that. It's probably a bunch of that, and let's go there. Let's have a look. It's granite. I've got, say, that much of it. Alright. We'll just go for it, to be honest. Just have to get somewhere else. Yeah, I don't see many gladiators. It's interesting because we can't really tell based on region, because not many players play cross-region. And also, with 50-player servers, I know that there's not a ton of players out there playing all the time, but we get quite a limited view of what people are doing. So yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see more stats, or one of the other things that they're working on, bigger servers. And I think they did say if OCS goes that well, they'll expand out the number of servers, number of players per server, which is something I'd like to see. But I think we're still a little bit away from seeing that yet. I wonder if they will increase the number of players per server immediately for, say immediately, if they'll expand the number of players for 3.3, or whether they will run 3.3 at a 50-player sort of number and then figure it out later. I'm still on the pad. And yeah, increase the number later depending on stats. But I think it's maybe a bit early to tell. I mean, we can't even tell that object container streaming is going to be good yet, so there is that. Lots going on. Yeah, I do wonder about sort of density of ships. I don't see many people owning the Aurora variants. A lot of people either seem to have a basic Aurora or something completely different, something that they've purchased. People either deposit the bare minimum into the game and just buy a starter package, or they really go for it like us guys and spend a fortune and then, yeah, end up with lots of nice things. So I wonder how many of the Aurora variants actually see play. Where's the engine? Whoop. I parked a little bit close under there. I'll take control of my ship eventually. Let's head over this way. Everyone here have a VR headset. So I actually work for a company that makes VR / mixed reality stuff. So I've got a big pile of them. That being said, I've never actually played Star Citizen in VR, so all that time around VR headsets and never played Star Citizen in one. I don't know how well it works. Is it particularly good? Is it a bit rubbish? You guys have to tell me. Let's head over to Cryostro. Yeah, I believe there was some talk of it being messed around in 4X using this. Yeah, I know it's been mentioned before by various people, and Chris has said like, hey, let's get the game out first before we worry about it, which is a completely reasonable thing to say. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen on Reddit in the last couple of days, there was the 720-degree sort of flight simulator, which looked really cool. So it moves full X rotation and a full Y rotation to allow you to sort of experience flight, and it would be really cool to see it modelled on Star Citizen. See if it works. Could be good, could be really rubbish. Yeah, I had a look. They're about $25,000, which for some people playing Star Citizen is not as much as they've spent. Alright, I need to go like now. I'm here, let's go here. This Prospector is definitely not a fighting ship, so I'm just gonna leave. Oh, that was a bit close for comfort. Let's head back to Olisar, I think. But yeah, with this new fuel mechanic, and there being a single refuel point in the verse, that becomes quite an issue. I wonder, I suppose with the release of Lawville / Hurston, we should see more refuel points. I don't know if the rest stops allow you to refuel there. I would have thought they would. I mean, Chris did say, you know, you'll need to stop multiple times along the way. Yeah, everyone wants to have... Oh, sorry. Everyone wants their ship to have massive guns so they can fight off people, but that's not the point. That's not really what we're going for. In a diegetic universe, in like a full, properly simulated thing, that doesn't happen. So yeah, it's nice to have some ships that don't fight, and you just do what I did and run away. That's the... You run away or you bring a guard. But yeah, not every ship is designed to be the best fighter in the game. Frame rate is helped with the async space warp, so you can get a good feel for VR. The ship can feel amazing in scale. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point actually. I bet it looks absolutely kick-ass in VR. Especially with the scale being appropriate. The frame rate would be one of the issues, I think, because anything that's not like 90 FPS or higher looks a bit rubbish in VR. That being said, if you've ever been a little bit naughty and loaded Star Citizen into single player mode, so done the PU in single player, which I definitely not recommend because you can be banned forever for doing that, the frame rate is quite good. You can get like frame rates in excess of 200 FPS, which just really goes to show you how bad the server is affecting things. Banu Defender, I do not own any Banu ships or Vandal ships or Isperia clones of those, but I would be curious to know if they're any good. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's the thing. There's so many ships around that it's hard to experience them all. It would be nice to have a system where we can sort of tell each other what we think of our ships, and have like, oh, this person thinks this ship is really good at X, and they own these other ships. So, but I don't know. They're very personal preference. Where are they putting me? There they are. Yeah, to be honest, with this week's lore post based around, he was Banu, I think. Was he Banu? His name was Maz. But yeah, even then, like, seeing some of the, artwork and things coming out, it's really impressive, and like, I'm really interested to know more about sort of a lot of their lore and to actually start meeting them in the verse. Nice and smooth. And yeah, like just seeing them around and being able to fly into their space, maybe, without getting shot down. Merchantman, yeah, that seems to be quite a popular choice. And yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to play as alien races. That would be an interesting one. One of you guys might know. But being able to play as Banu or Vandal or something like that would be an interesting thing. I know so far we're limited to humans and men, and next release gets us women. But yeah, we're quite limited at the moment, so I suppose it's good that we have the character customizer now, so we're not all the same person. Oh, that's the point. I've just realised that I've got some new armour and I'm not wearing it. Come on, game. There we go. Let's see what loadout I've got. Clothing. Oh, it's the undersuit that I want to change. Yeah, I've got this. Let's wear that. It looks much worse than it did in the picture. It looks better when you look at it. It looked worse in the preview. It looked all shiny, but there we go. Anyway. Wonder how many women play Star Citizen. I think you'd be surprised. Just being around the community, being in the Reddit and the in Spectrum, and also having been to a number of the bar citizens, and I went on a studio tour in Manchester. There's quite a lot, more than I would have expected. But it seems that, video games is quite a universal thing. They don't obviously advertise the fact that they're women, but yeah, there's quite a few. Maybe they're just less vocal around the community. Mixed mining, unrefined materials. That'd be a nice one as well when we have refineries. I bet that cost doesn't even cover the cost of the fuel that it took to mine that. But yeah, there's plenty of female fans out there. What do I want to play with now? I could take the big boy, or I could take the Aurora, which is a bit rubbish, or I could take the Prospector back out, take the Cutlass Black, which I've never actually used before. I've used the Dragonfly. Yeah, let's take the Cutlass Black. I've never used one of these. But yeah, ooh, getting my ship. I wonder where it'll go. Yeah, there's quite a few around. They're all quite lovely. They just prefer not to be identified as women because then all the weirdos come out of the works. They just prefer to be, you know, acknowledged as players. Although, again, thinking about it, with the release of VoIP and FOIP in 3.3, you'll probably be able to tell because they'll be talking to you, maybe, if they fancy it. So yeah, as we all start running around the verse talking to each other, you'll be able to identify them. Oh, damn, this is bigger than I thought it was going to be. I suppose it's a Drake ship. Let's go in through the back. Cutlass's best ship in game. Personally, big fan of the Origin 600i. Really like the 600i. That said, I don't own one because they're really expensive. And also I want the Explorer variant with the rover in it. Although I might end up with an 890 jump because that's also really nice. I feel like I'm the only guy I know who plays this game. Still hard to believe that most gamers have not heard or seen a Star Citizen. So that doesn't surprise me so much, mostly because the game is still very early days. As much as us guys have been following it for 6 years now, it's still broken, buggy, and unplayable. And anyone who actually tries to play it will just come up against like so much lag and bugs. They don't have the tenacity to sort of deal with it like us guys have obviously learned to. That being said, like today's been a really smooth experience. I haven't crashed once. But yeah, a lot of people just can't deal with the constant crashing and low FPS and lagging. Oh, that was... I was just saying how nice it was going, and then it goes not nice. Where are we? Where's Cryastra? Keep going. Is this just broken? I think it is. Right, well it appears the marker is bugged. And constantly says it's behind me. What are these guys doing? Let's go have a look. I mean, yeah, there's a whole bunch of ships in at the moment, and everyone's got their preference. I really like Origin ships; they're really good. Having seen some of the upcoming RSI ships, they look quite nice. I quite like the look of the Starliner, although whether I'll get one, not sure yet. And yeah, like the Star Lifter also looks pretty decent, although again, whether I choose to pick one up. Nope, still... Oh no, there we go. We've got a UI now. But yeah, I mean, I really just want the Legatus pack and to have one of everything. But I can't quite afford $37,000 to buy one. The friend who got me into this game has an Idris, so probably just steal his Idris at some point. Go and have a play with it. Yeah, the new Cutlass is quite nice. I do quite like it. What's this guy doing? But yeah, I'm quite a big fan of Drakes. You know, everything really. I quite like their industrial design. I can't even tell if this is human or AI. Oh no. How much is going to cost? How much is what going to cost? That's the important question, because everything in this game costs something. Oh no, missiles. I need to leave. Oh, I need a jump point. Come on. Oh, it's over here. This bugged UI is really not great. It's a good job he doesn't have an EMP. Oh, I didn't know about the T thing. That's quite interesting. It's nice that they've started adding these, like, convenience features. Been interdicted again. Yep. Doesn't seem to be doing a whole bunch. Oh well, maybe someone disabled him. Let's go and have a look at career, because someone's probably doing something naughty over there. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch. Come on. Oh, I haven't spooled. That helps, usually. This new system always gets me. They've... some of the community were talking about the tutorials, or lack thereof, and it's like, yeah, things just change so often, so quickly. Maybe I should start making tutorials every time they release a patch. I've thought about it, but we'll see. Where's security point career? There it is. Of course it's, again, behind the planet. We could probably get there pretty quick. Go bully some people. I'm going to actually have a look at my vehicle loadout as well. I don't know what I've got on here. No, yeah, that's quite nice actually. Trying to learn all the key bindings is a nightmare. I've considered buying some of those hotkey displays to put around the PC to have all of these things tacked on. But vehicle, no, that's not what I wanted. Vehicle loadout manager, there we go. Yeah, fair enough. That's not a bad loadout. I don't think I've got anything left. I don't think I've got any spares. Also, every time I click it's firing my things, which is not great. Oh, wrong button. It always super zooms in the UI when I do that. Oh, almost there. We'll make it eventually. We'll get there in the end. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some people map these multifunction displays out onto displays on their desk, which is quite a cool idea. Eventually I'll build like a flight cockpit if I get that into this game, which it looks like I'm going to. The voice attack seems really odd. I'm not sure what I think about it yet. I've not seen that many people use it, but I mean, I can see the use in it. I'm just not 100% sure if it's for me, if I want to be shouting at my PC to get it to do things. But, I mean, we'll find out. Maybe I'll try it. It'd be interesting to see if you can command the AIs in your ship to do things. So obviously in the future we'll be able to hire AI to like work on our ship and to do things for us. Being able to vocally tell them what to do would be quite useful, quite interesting. Yeah, I have LED backlit keyboard so I can see the keys when I'm sat in the dark, but it's still just terrible. Friendly fire. And yeah, trying to remember what all the buttons do and where they all are. Yeah, see, I've looked at a few different HOTAS setups, but trying to find one that's good. You know, every time I take a look or I search around the community for a recommendation for a HOTAS setup, someone tells me that that one is rubbish and that I need this one instead. And no one can seem to decide on what a good setup is. So maybe I'll just buy a cheap one and figure out if I like it, and then go from there. Oh, that's a good question. Before I run straight in here, do I have any weapons with me? Yes, I do. Okay. Alright, I can make that work. Let's go and land and see if anyone's being naughty. It looks like they are, look at them. Yeah, the key bindings do seem to change regularly, which is quite annoying. When, I suppose it's necessary with the changing mechanics all the time, but yeah, it's irritating. That's a good point, actually. Just one of the other things they're working on, which will be fun, is the AI for security forces for places like Korea. So you'll have to get past their security AI before you're actually allowed to get in and start messing with things, removing your crime stat. Which, yeah, is a nice little immersive gameplay feature. Whoa. If this could stay on the landing pad, that would be great. Alright, I'll just turn it off. It'll figure it out. Now, if that guy starts attacking my ship, he's going to get a crime stat, and then the station's going to blow him up. So, I don't know what he's trying to do. But before I go out there, I'm going to put my weapons on. Equipment. Weapons. Let's go for the shotgun, because we're going to be close quarters inside. Sidearm will have this pistol, and then I need magazines. I don't have any spares. Okay. Yeah, the shifting key bindings is a pain, and I think everyone would agree. Come on, go away, UI. I've got 12 rounds. Okay. It's a must. I like to play alone, do not have time to meet up. Yeah, see, I have this problem of I'm just like busy, don't have time to meet up with an org and organise things and do this, that and the other. So when I play, I just want to come and play on my own. And yeah, the adding of AI should make things more fun just for everyone generally, because those of us who don't have a ton of people to play with all the time can just hire a security force and hire the people that we need. And if there are humans floating around, great, and if not, we've got AIs that we can sort of play with. They can fill the space. I like Chris Roberts' idea of like 10 to 1. I don't need to do this, I don't have a crime stat, I don't think. Do I have a crime stat? No. Yeah, it's not going to let me use it. Have a few friends that play, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, just generally, you know, having AI is nice. But looks like we've got no one here. That's a shame. And yeah, it just adds more life to the verse. It just has more people around, and I think that's good for everyone. Everyone likes to have, you know, more people to play with, more people to interact with, more stuff to do. Oh, this is going to be fun. I've been a bit silly here. Oh well, off the ramp I go. And yeah, I mean, especially with a lot of the ships that are coming out being multi-crew ships, we're going to need those AI to help us drive big ships. I mean, I don't expect someone to be able to pilot an Idris on their own, but I'd expect, you know, what's an Idris? Like 12 pilots minimum? I'd expect like no more than 3 of those to have to be human. Oh, that guy. At the moment, don't even bother buying handheld weapons, don't need them. Yeah, some of the newer FPS stuff will be interesting. I wonder what this guy's doing. But yeah, some of the new FPS things will be interesting. Whether, you know, it ends up being any good, we'll find out. I know some people have put together some FPS things, like little hand races and combat scenarios. But whether they stick to them. But yeah, I don't know if we'll I don't know if handheld weapons will be a big thing in the game. I expect them to be, like, to some degree. But I suppose we'll find out over time. Ooh, I don't know what I hit there. Where is he? There he is. Oh, he brought a friend. Just fire some missiles at this guy. But yeah, I mean, not everyone wants to play FPS combat, which I can totally understand. Ooh. Yeah, let's go do something else, because this is going to take forever. And I'm just going to sit here in silence if I carry on. Come on, UI. Right. Classic Star Citizen broken UI. Let's go to here. Why not? In fact, we could go to a station. Or we could go to Delamar, because I haven't been here in a while. And I've got a full tank of fuel at the moment. Nope, is that still a bugged UI? It is a bugged UI. Classic. There we go. We'll spool now. AI seems to be something of a mystery. Every time I see it, it's done it. Just head over, then I can answer your question. There we go. Seems to be something of a mystery. Every time I see AI stood on a table facing a wall, wonder what's going on with the functionality. Fine. So it's an interesting one, because when an AI stood on a table, the question is the AI broken, or does the AI know that that's a table, and did the person who designed the station remember to tag it correctly, or, you know, what's going on there? And I think CIG have got some good ideas of how they want it to work. I think their concept is solid. Whether they manage to execute it successfully, well, that remains to be seen. But I mean, we can hope. I suppose we're still in fairly early days on whether that's going to be a big deal. Like, CIG probably have that as not that big of a deal at the moment. So, yeah, I guess when it becomes to become top priority, I know at the moment they've got things like Flight AI at the top of their list for 3.3. So hopefully we see things start to change. Hopefully things start to move for the better. I mean, that's great, but you haven't marked Levski for me anymore, so now I can't see where it is. Yeah, things like this buggy UI really don't help new players. Says destination. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to quantum drive there. But yeah, I mean, either way, hopefully it starts to improve. And I wonder if they'll let us program the UI using their... the editor that they've created for their UI, called Subsumption, is actually really cool. I quite like it. I wonder if they'll give us access to that, to have a play with, and to build our own custom AIs. I doubt it, but we can dream. But yeah, I mean, the team working over there are really talented. They've got some really cool things going on, and they obviously work very hard. They've got, you know, a bunch of the old Crytek developers working to build out custom engine parts. So first thing you back a season, they get the first ship out. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that I know early in the days of 3.0, they originally had AIs all over Olisar, and then in the end they had to remove them because they were just all over the place, messy, broken, not working. And it seems to be every patch they do the same thing, where we start out having AIs all over Olisar, and then they end up getting removed because they don't work properly and they bug and they look terrible. Which is a shame. But yeah, that's true. It does make the game look bad. But hopefully it will start to improve. Some of the stuff they've shown off of the FPS AI looks really cool, with the them being able to like change their fighting patterns dynamically and things like that. I like the look of that, but whether it does end up being any good, you know, they always make it look good in the videos, but that doesn't mean it's actually going to be that good when it comes out. But yeah, I mean, we can dream. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we've all been doing since the start of this game, because we have no way of knowing for sure. All we can do is trust that Chris has, you know, an idea of what he's doing, which I'm pretty sure he does. I don't think we'd have given him this much money if we didn't believe that he knew what he was up to. Where's the off button? There it is. Alright, let's go. Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff is super exciting. I can't wait to be able to land somewhere like this and rent a hab and be able to just go and chill in my hab, have an apartment on Levski or ArcCorp or wherever it is. I mean, while I'm waiting for my space base, which Chris Roberts hasn't given me yet. I know they've been talking about modular buildings and how you'll be able to slot your modules together to build out huge like bases. I wonder if it'll expand to buildings and being able to build cities. That would be quite cool. I'd be happy to build a city. But again, like, too early to say. Come on, elevator, please. It's never coming down, apparently. It's the elevator that takes a considerable amount of time. Oh. That was so weird, like crossing a physics grid. Oh, okay, I guess. Some of the new elevator tech looks cool as well. So they've obviously been working on transit systems, and as part of that they've been rebuilding the elevators. And yeah, I think some of the new stuff that they've got going on looks really interesting. So this is the ship consoles. Yeah, I mean, even here, like, this space just looks dead. And for a living, breathing universe, there's like no one in the customs booth. This guy doesn't do anything. He doesn't stop me. I can't interact with him. Like, I know, what's it called? The new one, Lawville. Lawville is going to have customs. But we've already got them here and they don't work. So I wonder if these will be brought online and functional with the next release. Whether these customs guys will actually do anything. Apparently there's something... Apparently I can steal these weapons, but I can't reach them. Nope. I can click this guy, but I can't go in and steal his weapons. That's a shame. But yeah, like even these AIs that are chilling around here, like this guy just looks empty. He's not doing anything. Oh, he's gonna float away across the floor. Oh, and he's gone. Oh, he's back again. This is the quality AI that we come to this game for. Look at this. Great. Oh, no, his foot did the thing. He stood on top of it somehow. The dynamic foot thing worked. What happens if I tap this dude? Does he do the same thing? Nope, he is just broken. He's just broken forever now. But yeah, it's kind of sad because, you know, all this stuff going down and we can't do anything with these guys. Oh, this one's real. But now my interact menu is broken. But yeah, I mean, it is a shame. Oh, that's the Habs, isn't it? Oh look, this one walks. So we've got one living AI and the rest are just, yeah, dead inside. This guy's trying now, look. He's gotten worse. I don't know how he's managed that. Oh, that guy over there is walking around the corner over and over again. So he got to about, yep. So yeah, we just have like loads of broken AIs. Where should we go? Let's go downstairs into the markets. See if we can find more broken AI down there. Unless the citizen put these AI make me want ammo. Yeah, it's a difficult one. Also, this has 4 buttons and 2 options. I do really want to see it succeed, and I hold out hope that one day it will be good, but at the moment we just don't have anything really. It's just not there, just not ready. And I'm hoping that in the next couple of years, I'm hoping by 2020 we have something that looks like a game and plays like a game. I don't expect perfection, but I expect like a number of gameplay loops with, you know, servers of more than 50 people with AI that isn't broken. I don't care about ships. We've got enough of them to tide us over. Landing zones, we're getting there. Like, we've got another one coming out. If both ArcCorp and Lawville make it out on time, those two landing zones combined with, you know, all the ships that we've got, I'd be happy if they went full ham at game mechanics. Now, obviously we know that's not how game development works, and so, you know, they'll keep developing ships because they've got a ship team and so on. But yeah, I think they really need to go for the mechanics if they want to make anything, you know, that we want to play in that amount of time. Because, yeah, we don't want it to stagnate, that's the thing. I don't normally come over here. This is all new. Oh yeah, there you go. Look, they're stood up on the chairs. Oh, I made his arm break. What? Great. Well, that's a. Yeah. So yeah, they are a little bit broken. Let's go down to the bar and see who's chilling down here. Because yeah, like even this space, which is full of music and people, like you can't do anything. The guys stood on the bar. You're just gonna sit here and ignore me. To be fair, I haven't done any of the prerequisite missions, but still. He's stood on the bar. Can't tell if this is a citizen though. He's wearing a flight suit. I can't do anything to him though, so I'd guess not. I didn't know AIs could wear the flight suits. Yeah, that's true. I know that some of the mechanics rely on other things, but they really just need to go hard at these mechanics now because we want to play them. Oh, I don't think I've ever been in here before. But yeah, citizens are excited to play with the new mechanics, and we don't have them yet. But even things like repair and refuel will mean that some of us can play those mechanics while... I'm going to take a seat here. Some of us can play repair and refuel while others are mining, and we actually get a, not incredible, but a gameplay loop. And yeah, I mean, that's all we want at the end of the day, is a loop. Something to do. So yeah, we'll see what the future holds. I hope CIG are, you know, I think they realise, I think they understand. I think one of their issues is they can't hire enough staff quick enough. But yeah, I think they get it. So I'm hoping CitizenCon this year surprises us, but I'm not holding my breath. Maybe the big announcement that they're hiding is that all of the AI works now. Maybe not. But I mean, oh, I've gone this way. But yeah, I mean, one way or another we'll find out. I wonder if there's anything down here that I want. 44 days to CitizenCon, yeah. So the PTU will almost certainly drop at CitizenCon to the general backer. I can't decide if the Evocati will get it first. So yeah, I'm not sure if Evocati are going to get it before CitizenCon. But given the leaks recently and things like that, I wouldn't hold my breath. So we'll see. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Oh, it's another table standy guy. This guy's floating on the table, look. Look at that. Magic. But yeah. Any of you guys going to CitizenCon? Don't know if you guys live in the States or somewhere else. I would, but flights to Texas are quite expensive. Oh, it's just like an RSI branded. Oh, a toolkit. I see. That's cool. I want one of these. I bet I can't buy one. I don't even know what this guy sells. Plants. The guy around there already told me that. All these trade stands and nothing to buy. Might next year if it's back in Europe. Yeah, I mean, if it comes to Europe, I'll almost certainly make the effort to go. Because, what have we got? So, they rotate between... where do they rotate between? LA, Texas, there's Frankfurt, Wilmslow, and Derby, which is also in the UK. Now, I don't think Derby has ever... Is it Derby? I don't think they've ever held a CitizenCon, because they're the mocap studio. But I could see Frankfurt or Wilmslow happening. Although I think maybe... Was it Wilmslow last year? I don't remember where it was last year. So yeah, as long as it's not LA, I could see myself finding my way there, one way or another. But I guess we'll find out. I quite like this spacesuit. It's very nice. And also by then we might be seeing, I don't even know, something good next year. This time next year, what might we be? 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6, 3, 7 or 4, 0. Not sure which one. But yeah, we'll definitely be beyond where we are now. Can't go through there. I wonder what we'll have. I don't think we're quite ready for a 4.0 release. I don't think CIG are ready for that either. So I think next year's CitizenCon will likely be a 3.7 release, with maybe some sneak peeks into what we can hope for 4.0. Although I don't know what their classification for a 4.0 release is. Maybe it's a complete gameplay loop. I don't know if they've actually announced anything to sort of specify what they're going to be hoping to achieve by then. All this like history of Grimhex. I wonder in the future if it would be possible to repair these, because as much as this is all destroyed, theoretically we could repair them as citizens and rebuild the station. Don't know. Don't know how deep CIG are going with that gameplay. Yeah, so CitizenCon sounds like it'll actually be really interesting, and I am quite sad that I can't go. But it'll be nice to see A, the new release, like that's going to be a real hype train, but also B, a release that is, I don't know, we get to see it from the dev's point of view. Huh, it's like a AI with this mobi-glass open. But yeah, we get to see things from the dev's point of view, we get some Q&A panels, we get to see all the secrets that they've been hiding from us, and just generally, yeah, I think it'd be good fun. I don't think anyone will walk away disappointed. And yeah, I don't think there's anything left for me to explore in here, but let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the people who go to CitizenCon are those of us who really enjoy Star Citizen, so I suppose there's not many things they could do that we wouldn't enjoy, other than being horrendously cringy. Just another dead mining operation. So yeah, central ventilation. Huh. I wonder if you could stick a big vat of poison in here and kill everyone. Way to wipe out a station. I think Chris will show off what they plan to release end of 2019. I'm not sure. So Good question. They'll hopefully have the 3.7 roadmap released for that. So presumably what they've been talking about for the 3.3 release, which is why 3.3 took so long to actually get built, is because they've been planning what happens after 3.6, which we'll then hopefully see announced at CitizenCon. So Chris will hopefully tell us what's going to happen in 3.7 or 4.0, whichever one it's going to be. But yeah, like, I'd be fairly willing to bet that's part of the reason that it took so long to decide. And yeah, that's true. Like, it's always... that's an infinitely falling AI. It's always annoying when they show off something cool, but then it's like, oh, we're not going to release it for another year. And even if it does get released, it might not function. The whole vacuum thing is an interesting one. So, obviously it got showed off by Chris in one of the ATVs recently. The whole vacuum tech, exposing a vacuum, everything gets sucked out. And then those guys talking about that from a ship point of view, and being able to blow all of your cargo out of the hold at a moment's notice if you want to. That's something I think quite a lot of citizens would be interested in. So that might appear, although it's not a huge deal, it might be a thing that we see. Other than that, I'm not really sure what they've got up their sleeve. Because a lot of the things that we're all waiting for have a bunch of prerequisites, which I don't think they'd hide all the prerequisites right up until CitizenCon. That might be a bit of a shooting themselves in the foot moment, but this guy's going to walk the stairs into nothing. Look at him go. He can walk through air. Oh, now he's on top of the station. On top of the thing. Where's he going? I've got to follow this guy. Like, what madness is this? Oh, he's gone apparently. Okay, well that was odd. Let's have a look. Had it working for ships, but Chris sent them back because it only worked for ships and not big structures. Yeah, so with a system like that, I'd expect Chris to want it to be working. It shouldn't be a ship-specific feature, it should be an everything feature. And if it works in one place, it should work everywhere, really. And yeah, they did show it a while ago. And yeah, now they're telling us it doesn't work, which is fair. You say they're building the engine at the same time. It's a weird one because they're using CryEngine, so they've got an engine already. Or sorry, they're using Amazon's Lumberyard engine. They are making modifications to the engine to make it work as well as it can. But yeah, I mean, they've got the tools, they've got the tech. We'll see, I guess. It's hard to predict, it's hard to guess. You can't really put dates and times on these things, it's quite difficult. I do appreciate that. Spent enough time, you know. The company that I work for also does games development, so yeah, I've been on that side of things, and I know that things don't always go as you'd like. But hey ho, this is a lot of stuff. See, this is great, but it'll be nice when we can actually swap these out physically and like go and pull the old one out and put the new one in. And yeah, cool stuff. I've not got anything to trade. Nope. Oh, the Magic X door. Oh well. Oh, it's my new friend. Well, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day for that. We've been here for about 2 hours now. Oh, let's just see. Making huge changes to it in the render pipeline and cutting it for OCS, gigantic task, much smaller company. Yeah, true. It's a difficult one because they've got such a large team, but reworking a game engine, especially an existing code base, can be an absolute nightmare. So I guess we'll see. There's no really, we can't predict from the outside, and I'm sure CIG are working hard to get it working. And once this stuff does work, iterating it is much easier, as we've seen with various 3.0 features where, you know, mining's received so many tweaks and reworks and things. It's quite straightforward to rework these things once they exist. But yeah, so I'm going to head off, guys. It was lovely to stream with you all. If you want me to do it again soon, that's a thing that I can do. We could maybe make this a weekly thing or whatnot. Other than that, check out the videos on the channel, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I don't know, I think both of you guys have. But other than that, it was great to see you all. And I'll see you guys in the Week in Review episodes, and so on.